I never thought I'd find myself in a situation like this. You know how life can throw curveballs when you least expect it? Well, I was living my normal, uneventful life when everything changed in a matter of days. It all started with a simple text message that I stumbled upon while borrowing my wife's phone. Little did I know that one moment would unravel a secret life I never knew existed. It was a typical Saturday afternoon. The sun was shining, and I was sprawled out on the couch, half watching a game on TV while scrolling through my phone. My wife, Sarah, was out running errands, and I was looking forward to a quiet evening together. We had plans to watch a movie and enjoy some takeout from our favorite Thai place. As I lounged, I realized I needed to send a quick message to one of her friends about a surprise party we were planning for her birthday. So, I grabbed her phone from the kitchen counter, thinking it would be harmless. I mean, it's just a phone, right? As I unlocked her phone, I noticed a text notification pop up from a contact named Lily. Now, I didn't recognize that name, but I brushed it off. I composed my message and hit send, but as I was about to hand her phone back, I felt a strange urge to peek at the messages. I shouldn't have done it. What I found was a conversation that sent chills down my spine. It was filled with inside jokes, plans to meet up, and what seemed like a deep emotional connection. My heart raced as I read through the messages. Who was this Lily? Why was my wife sharing such intimate thoughts with her? Suddenly, my mind was flooded with questions, and I felt a wave of panic wash over me. The first signs of trouble. When Sarah came home, I acted normal, but inside, I was a tornado of emotions. I tried to brush it off, but the curiosity gnawed at me. I needed to know more. Over the next few days, I found myself obsessively thinking about those messages. I started to pay more attention to Sarah, looking for clues, any signs that would help me understand what was going on. One evening, while we were watching TV, I noticed she kept glancing at her phone. Every time it buzzed, she'd pick it up and smile. It was like a dagger to my heart. I felt betrayed, but I didn't want to jump to conclusions. Maybe it was just a friend? But then again, why was she being so secretive? As the days turned into weeks, I decided to do some digging. I started by casually bringing up the name Lily in conversations, trying to gauge her reaction. Hey, do you know anyone named Lily? I asked one night, trying to sound nonchalant. She paused, looking a bit too surprised for my liking. Yeah, she's a friend from college. What? The way she hesitated made my heart sink. I could tell she was hiding something. I couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to this story. So, I did what any husband would do when faced with uncertainty. I started snooping. I waited until she fell asleep one night and quietly grabbed her phone from the bedside table. My hands trembled as I unlocked it. I knew this was wrong, but I felt I had no choice. I started scrolling through her messages with Lily, and what I found made my stomach churn. They weren't just friends. They were planning secret trips, sharing dreams, and discussing personal struggles in a way that felt far too intimate for just friends. It was like a punch to the gut. My mind raced with thoughts of betrayal and heartbreak. I felt like I was living in a nightmare. I couldn't believe my wife, the woman I thought I knew, was leading a double life. The next day, I confronted her. I couldn't keep it inside any longer. I needed answers. Sarah, can we talk? I asked, my voice trembling. She looked up from her coffee, a mix of confusion and concern on her face. I took a deep breath and laid it all out. I found the messages between you and Lily. What's going on? Her face went pale. What? You went through my phone? She exclaimed, her voice rising. I nodded, feeling the weight of my actions. I had to know. You've been acting strange, and I couldn't understand why. For a moment, she was silent, her eyes searching mine. Then, she broke down. I didn't want you to find out this way. It's not what you think. Her voice trembled as she spoke, and I could see the pain in her eyes. What do you mean? It looks pretty clear to me. I replied, my heart racing. I was ready for her to deny everything, to tell me I was overreacting. But instead, she took a deep breath and began to explain. She's more than just a friend. I've been struggling with some things for a while now, and I didn't know how to talk to you about it. I felt so alone, and Lily was there for me in a way I didn't expect. It started as a friendship, but I didn't want to hurt you by telling you how close we've become. I was stunned. So, you've been hiding this from me? Why didn't you just tell me you were having a hard time? I didn't want to burden you. I thought I could handle it on my own, but it spiraled out of control. I love you, but I felt like I was losing myself, and Lily helped me find parts of me I thought were gone. Her words hit me like a freight train. I felt a mix of anger and heartbreak, but also a strange sense of understanding. I realized that she had been struggling, and instead of pushing her away, I should have been there for her. Over the next few days, we had long conversations about our relationship, our struggles, and the importance of communication. It wasn't easy, and there were moments of tension and tears, but we slowly began to rebuild our connection. Sarah agreed to set boundaries with Lily, and we both committed to being more open with each other. But just when I thought we were on the path to healing, something unexpected happened. One evening, as we were having dinner, Sarah received a text from Lily. I could see the apprehension on her face as she opened it. "I think I should tell her about us," Sarah said quietly, her eyes downcast. My heart raced. "Are you sure that's a good idea? It could complicate things." "I know, but I don't want to keep lying. I need to be honest with her, just like I'm trying to be with you." After much discussion, she decided to meet with Lily. I offered to go with her for support, but she insisted on going alone. "I need to do this on my own," she said, determination in her voice. The next day, I waited anxiously for her to return. My mind was racing with thoughts of what could happen. Would Lily understand? Would this end their friendship? I felt a mix of hope and dread. When Sarah came home, her eyes were red, and I could tell she had been crying. "How did it go?" I asked, my heart pounding. "It was hard," she admitted, her voice shaky. I told her everything. She was upset, but she understood. She said she never meant to come between us. Relief washed over me, but I could see the weight of the situation still hung heavily on her. "Are you okay?" I asked, taking her hands in mine. "I think so. It feels like a huge weight has been lifted, but I also feel sad for what I've lost." We spent the evening talking, and I realized that this experience, as painful as it was, had brought us closer. We learned to communicate better, to be more vulnerable with each other, and to appreciate the love we shared. But just as we were starting to find our rhythm again, another twist hit us like a freight train. A few weeks later, Sarah received a call from Lily. It was late at night, and I could hear the urgency in Sarah's voice as she spoke. "Lily, what's wrong?" I could see the color drain from Sarah's face as she listened. After she hung up, she turned to me, her expression grave. "Lily's going through a tough time. She just got dumped by her boyfriend, and she's really struggling. She wants to talk to me." I felt a knot tighten in my stomach. "Are you going to see her?" "I don't know. I want to be there for her, but I also don't want to overstep boundaries," Sarah replied, her voice trembling. "Maybe it's best to keep some distance for now," I suggested, trying to keep my emotions in check. "I know, but I can't just abandon her when she needs me," Sarah insisted. After a long discussion, we came to a compromise. Sarah would meet with Lily during the day, in public places, and I would be okay with it as long as she kept me in the loop. It felt like a fragile truce, but I was willing to try. The next week, Sarah met with Lily for coffee. I waited at home, anxiously pacing the floor, my mind racing with thoughts of what might happen. When Sarah returned, she looked both relieved and troubled. "How did it go?" I asked, trying to sound casual. "It was tough. Lily's really hurting, and she's feeling lost," Sarah said, her voice soft. "And how do you feel about her?" I asked, my heart pounding. "I care about her, but I love you. I promise I'm not going anywhere," Sarah reassured me, reaching for my hand. As the weeks went by, I tried to trust Sarah, but the tension between us grew. I couldn't shake the feeling that Lily was becoming too much of a presence in our lives. Sarah would come home from her meetings with Lily, and I could see the emotional toll it was taking on her. One evening, I couldn't take it anymore. "Sarah, I feel like I'm losing you to Lily. You're spending so much time with her, and I'm worried about what it means for us," I said, my voice trembling. "I'm not trying to replace you. I swear," she exclaimed, her eyes wide with surprise. "I know you're not, but it feels like she's taking up space in our relationship. I need you to be all in with me," I replied, my heart racing. "I am all in. I just want to help her." Realizing we needed help, we decided to see a couples therapist. It was a difficult decision, but I hoped it would help us navigate our feelings and rebuild trust. In our first session, we talked about the impact of Lily on our relationship. The therapist encouraged us to express our feelings openly and honestly. It was a cathartic experience, and for the first time in weeks, I felt like we were on the same team. After several sessions, we began to make progress. Sarah learned to set boundaries with Lily, and I worked on managing my insecurities. We also started to rediscover the joy in our relationship, going on dates, and spending quality time together. Just when things were starting to feel stable, I received a call from an unknown number. When I answered, I was shocked to hear Lily's voice. "Is this Jake?" she asked, her voice shaky. "I know, but I don't want to keep lying. I need to be honest with her, just like I'm trying to be with you." "Yes, it is. What's going on? I need to talk to you." "It's important," she said, her voice trembling. My heart raced. "Why do you want to talk to me?" "It's about Sarah. I think you need to know something," she said. I felt a wave of dread wash over me. "Okay, where do you want to meet?" We decided to meet at a coffee shop near our house. When I arrived, I saw Lily sitting at a table, her hands shaking as she fidgeted with her coffee cup. "Thanks for meeting me," she said, avoiding eye contact. "What's this about?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. "I've been thinking a lot about my friendship with Sarah, and I realized I might have crossed some lines," she admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. "What do you mean?" "I didn't mean to come between you two. I just got caught up in my own emotions and didn't think about how it might affect your relationship," she said, tears welling in her eyes. I felt a mix of anger and sympathy. "So what are you saying?" "I think it's best if I step back from our friendship. I don't want to hurt you or Sarah," she said, her voice trembling. I returned home, my mind racing. I felt a strange sense of relief, but also sadness for Lily. When I told Sarah about the meeting, she was surprised. "I can't believe she would do that," she said, her eyes wide. "I think she genuinely cares about you, but she realizes it's not healthy for either of you," I replied. We spent the evening talking about what this meant for our relationship. Sarah expressed her gratitude for my support and reassured me that she was committed to rebuilding our bond. In the weeks that followed, we focused on healing. We continued our therapy sessions, and I noticed a shift in our dynamic. Sarah was more open with me, sharing her feelings and fears. I, in turn, worked on being more vulnerable and honest about my own insecurities. One night, as we lay in bed, Sarah turned to me and said, "I never want to go through something like that again. It made me realize how much I love you." "I love you too," I replied, feeling a warmth spread through my chest. Months passed, and while the scars of that experience remained, they served as a reminder of how far we had come. Sarah and I started taking steps to strengthen our relationship. We began going to couples therapy regularly, which helped us navigate our feelings and rebuild trust. One day, while we were taking a walk in the park, I turned to her and said, "You know, I never thought we'd get through this, but here we are." She smiled, her eyes sparkling. "It's been a journey, but I wouldn't trade it for anything. I love you more than ever." In that moment, I realized that sometimes life throws challenges our way to help us grow. Our relationship was stronger than ever, and while the road ahead was uncertain, I knew we could face anything together. As we continued to grow, I received an unexpected message from Lily. "Can we talk?" it read. My heart sank. I debated whether to tell Sarah. After much thought, I decided to be honest with her. "Sarah, I got a message from Lily," I said, my heart racing. "What does she want?" Sarah asked, her voice tense. "She wants to talk. I don't know what about," I replied, feeling the weight of the moment. Sarah took a deep breath. "You should talk to her. Just be honest about where we stand." I met Lily once more, this time with a sense of closure. "I wanted to let you know that I'm committed to my relationship with Sarah," I said firmly. "I understand. I just wanted to apologize for everything. I never wanted to come between you two," she said, her voice sincere. "I appreciate that. I hope you find happiness too," I replied, feeling a sense of peace wash over me. When I returned home, I shared the conversation with Sarah. "I think we're finally free from that chapter," I said, relief flooding my voice. "Good. I'm glad you were able to find closure," she replied, her eyes shining with love. As we moved forward, I realized that the experience had brought us closer together. We learned to communicate better, to be more vulnerable with each other, and to appreciate the love we shared. Looking back, I can say that discovering Sarah's secret life was one of the hardest things I've ever faced, but it ultimately led us to a deeper understanding of each other. Sometimes, the things that break us can also make us stronger, and that's a lesson I'll carry with me forever. So, if you ever find yourself in a similar situation, remember that communication is key. Don't let fear hold you back from seeking the truth. It might just lead you to a stronger, more honest relationship. And that, my friends, is the story of how I discovered my wife's secret life and how it changed everything for the better.